second.
Yes. We're now live. Hold on, I'm going to move this a little bit closer. No one's here yet. We're kind of early. I don't know if people will come.
It is kind of early.
It is kind of early. Rude. Hello, friends. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to our first blog live. I don't know. We don't have a name for these. Our live chats about blog posts, or based on blog posts, or with blog authors, I guess, maybe is the point.
Sure.
Yeah. This one is unusual because, of course, our blog author this week was Morgan, who is my partner and therefore here in person with me. We are not at home. We met up in Cleveland, so we are in a different city than where we live. But we wanted to just come on and chat a little bit about sewing and relationships and, I don't know, some questions people had. So let's introduce ourselves.
That was a nice prompt. Hey, I'm Morgan. I'm libraritarian on Insta. I use they, them pronouns, and I am a very beginning sewist. But I've been with this one for a while, so I know all about it. As my handle suggests, I used to be a librarian. Still, I don't know if you ever stopped being one, but I work at a queer resource center at a university, and I also am a farmer. So I think that covers most of it.
A person of many talents. I am Shannon. I'm at Rare Device. I'm the founder of SewQueer, so you have seen my face around here before if you've been here a little while. And I've been sewing for about 8 years, seriously. I always have to do the math. About 8 years, seriously, and I am an art historian. I'm a professor at a small liberal arts college, and I've been hosting SewQueer for about 3.5 years, and I'm really excited for its next steps, its next journey. You are a very beginning sewist.
Yes.
Tell us about how you got started into it.
So, I have actually known how to sew, like, the very, very, very basics since I was a teenager, I think. I had one experience when I was a teenager. I was trying to make myself a pair of shorts, and it was like 3 a.m, and I managed to stab my finger in my mom's sewing machine, and it like jammed in there, and I had to like yell to wake her up, and she had to like cut it out with bolt cutters, and I basically didn't sew again for a very long time. But during the pandemic, I was making myself and some friends a bunch of masks on an old sewing machine that I had lying around, which broke, and I like FaceTimed Shannon, who walked me through how broke it was, which was very, and so I got a new old sewing machine on Craigslist, and I was like, well, I guess if I'm spending $20 on a sewing machine, I might as well start sewing things. Shannon's been making me clothes for years now, and I felt like I was abusing the privileges that I had. Because I like wearing the same thing. I like having a uniform. And Shannon loves making like exciting things and having experiments, and I love that. And also, like, if I find one thing I like, I want 15 of them.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing that I want to ask you to make for me.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
So I decided to learn to start making some of those things for myself. That was
January, December,
something like that.
Something in the winter. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm brand new. I know how to make like 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it, and I've made a lot of those 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Is that a good answer?
That's an excellent
Okay.
answer. Well, I like that you brought up our difference in, like, both what we like to wear, but also how we like to sew what we like to wear. Because you're right, like, I do have a few patterns that I repeat, but I change up the fabrics more often than you do, I think, and I really enjoy the, like, process of puzzling out a different style of garments, more than like perfecting one and making it over and over. Yeah.
Well, I remember. So Shannon started sewing around the time that we first got together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we've, in various iterations of our relationship, I've witnessed her learning to sew.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, the way you learned was very much like, I remember you said, like, every garment that you picked was going to have, like, a new thing that you wanted to learn how to do.
Yeah.
So you, like, deliberately choose something that had a zipper in it so you could learn to do a zipper. And and that's obviously the way that you learn. And mine is, I don't want to learn anything I don't have to learn. So I'm going to find exactly what I want to make. Like, I probably shouldn't have started with shirt making. But also I was like, literally, I just want to make this shirt.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to make it over and over until I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, honestly, I like that you said you probably shouldn't have started with shirt making, but you did anyway, because, like, I am also a, like, big encourager of, like, beginners just going for the project that you really want to do more than the project you think you have the skills to do. Mm-hmm. Because, like, you'll figure them out, and, like, the first one might be a little bit wonky, but, like...
Honestly, even, so the first, I like, brought in my suitcase.
The first
stuff that I made.
Yeah.
Just because even stuff that I made that I didn't do a great job with still fits me better, and I like more than most of the ready-to-wear stuff that I try to find. So even though it is, like, messy and I can tell that it was the first thing I ever made, I still like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it's so true. Okay, so we did have a question about how we met, and because you mentioned when we met-ish, or when we first got together, I guess we had met before that. How did we meet?
We met on the internet.
We did.
On a long ago website called Tumblr.
This dates us.
I was Shannon's fic beta.
Yes. Yes, they were.
How embarrassing. I still love editing Shannon's writing.
Yeah.
I'm still terrified of sending her my own. So.
You are. I want you to keep doing it
so
that you'll be less terrified. But I do really like writing with you as my audience.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That feels like a very special thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so after a while of talking online, Shannon was living in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So we finally met in person in Minneapolis back in 2013. 2013. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've had kind of we dated for a while, we were friends for a while, and then now we've been together for almost 4 years. Can I say that, even though it's like a few months off? Sure.
Time means nothing.
More than 3.5 years.
Also, when you have like a complicated relationship history that has like multiple kinds of like kinds of progression, then anniversaries are a little bit silly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like when we like got together, we were also like professing love. Like, it was like not, there were no like first dates this time. Yeah.
You didn't do that.
So, okay, so do we want to talk a little bit actually about kind of our relationship setup? Because we had a really good question about separating grown-up time and kid time.
Yeah.
So, like, those of you who don't follow me on my personal account might not know the, like, I'm not going to say the details of our relationship because nobody does, but the, like, basic format of our relationship, which is that we live in separate cities.
Separate states. Even.
Separate states, yeah. Separate states even. We are now about 4 hours apart drive, which is much closer than we were.
Nice.
It's really great. And we kind of plan to live in separate cities probably forever. Yeah. Because of, like, our lives and careers and families and kid and all of the things. Morgan has a great and funny and insightful and sensitive 10, almost 11-year-old.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right.
I know.
Wow.
We're in the summer. It's almost
time doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a 10-year-old. We're not
Yeah.
co-parenting. So I'm a single parent, and I like it that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and when we got back together, we had a lot of conversations about, like, and we'd had a lot of conversations before about, like, what sort of relationship style both of us needed. And I mean, I think the fact for a lot of people, not just us, is that, like, we already have full lives.
Yeah.
And I love getting to share the, like, existing full life that I have with you, and I love getting to see your existing full life and try to make it better. But, like, the idea of combining our lives, also, like, I'm a terrible person to live with. Like, I don't know how my son does it.
Me too, is the thing. Like,
nobody needs to put up with me.
No. No. Neither of us are, like, good cohabitators, I think.
Yeah.
So, and we would also need a house, like, twice as big as what either of us live in right now to fit all of our stuff. Because we both have full houses.
I mean, I'm just gross. I just fill a house with whatever space there is in it. I don't need any of it. I would happily
need all of my stuff.
You do.
So
and I would make your stuff so cluttered and horrible.
And I'm very particular about, like, how my mess is arranged. So
yeah.
We would be very bad together in the same house permanently. So we don't, and it's great.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it. I'm excited for you to, like, get to a space of some sort of permanence where you're living. I think that's exciting. I like seeing, like, the kind of, like, you settling into a place that suits you really well. Like, you're getting closer. Yeah. And it's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I live in my hometown in Michigan, and really love it. It's, like, not actually that great, but, like, I feel very devoted to it. I have, like, a really close chosen family, and some of my family of origin is there too, who I'm fairly close with. So I'm, like, definitely never going to leave my hometown, and I feel great about that. Yeah. Also, I would never ask someone to move there.
I mean, fair. Yeah.
Although now that Shannon's living in a smaller town than I am, I'm like, I'm the big city visit.
I know, it's so sad.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, and, like, I'm an academic. I'm an academic in my first tenure track job. That I love. Like, I love this job. I don't love the city that I live in. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But there are options for me, even keeping this job and living somewhere else potentially. But, like, since we've known each other, I've been aware that this was going to be my career, and that my career was going to probably mean some instability for, like, at least a decade, if not more. I mean, it took me 6.5 years to finish my master's and PhD. And then I got this job, and it's going to take me 6 years to get tenure. And then if I'm here, and if I'm not, then I'm going to go somewhere else, and it's going to take me years to get tenure. So, like, there's no permanence in academia until you're tenured. So, I was not ever really interested in asking somebody else to follow me. And I was not super interested in compromising with somebody, especially another academic, on where we would live. So it was really nice that Morgan was another academic, and also that Morgan didn't want to follow me, because I could be like, I'm going to peace out and move to Indiana. It's a choice I made.
Yes, it is.
And
But that was, so, I mean, like I said, when we got together, Shannon was in Minneapolis, which is, I mean, we, generally speaking, had to fly to visit each other. And so this is a much easier distance to travel.
Yeah.
But, like, she could have just as easily ended up in, say, Hawaii.
I could have.
Yeah. And, yeah, so I think a lot of our career choices do change things for a relationship. But that's just kind of like a continual discussion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How do we balance kid time and adult time?
I don't. So, like I said, I'm a single parent, and also my custody situation is that I've got my son for like about 75% of the time. I also basically have 2 full-time jobs between. That's an exaggeration. I have 1 full-time job where I'm working from home, and my son is at school from home up until yesterday. It was the last day of school. And I also am starting a farm, and I'm out there, let's say, 20 hours a week. I have no ability to separate parenting time or personal time, except for when my son is with his dad, who I co-parent with. And that's about it. It's not ideal, but also he's 10. He's old enough that we can have frank conversations about how, like, we need to be supporting each other. That means sharing space when he's doing stuff he doesn't want to be doing.
Yeah.
And I'm doing stuff I don't want to be doing.
Yeah.
It's a continual negotiation. I don't know if it's going to get easier or harder, but that's how it is.
He's going to be a teenager, so probably harder.
He is.
Not necessarily, though.
Most of the time when Shannon and I visit is during time that he's not with me, like now.
Yeah.
But they do know each other and like each other a whole lot.
Yeah.
And are very, very cute together.
So cute.
Yeah. But yeah, mostly my time with my son is just like 100% parenting time with as much of me smashed in there as there can be.
Yeah. You're doing well.
I'm trying.
He's as sensitive and thoughtful a 10-year-old as I've met. He thinks about the big issues of the world and about his role in them in a way a lot of 10-year-olds don't. So
he has no choice.
It's true. You force it on him. You're like, by the way, have you heard about colonialism?
Parenting's great. I'm trying to think. Are there other things, other parenty things?
No, I think that answers it. I mean, yeah, your days when he's at his dad's are often the times we visit, especially if you're coming to me.
Yeah.
Of course. And then if I go up to Morgan, we'll sometimes overlap, and I'll sometimes be there a few of Maple's days, or all of them sometimes if that's how it works out.
Yeah.
We've done that a couple times, but
I mean, it's important to me and to Maple and to Shannon, I think, that you're not responsible for him.
Yeah.
You two can have your own independent relationship. But it's one, it's a parallel relationship. There's no responsibility between the two of you, and I don't think any of us wants that.
No.
So you can just like each other, and
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. No, I care about him trusting me, and I care about being sort of an adult in his life that can be another person that he can learn from and go to and talk to and all of that. But no, I'm not his parent, and I'm not responsible for him in that type of relationship. Yeah.
That works really well.
It does.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's working out really well. Yeah. Okay, so how about some sewing questions?
So are these...
Yes.
A process question here. Are these questions all for me, or are they for both of us?
I think they're for both of us.
Good. Okay.
I'm going to ask, we had a really good question, and one that I think is a frequent question in the space that we want to have as many answers to as possible, which is tips for adjusting patterns after a surgical transition, especially after top surgery, is the example given here. And to give some backgrounds to our abilities to answer this, I guess. I sewed for you, like, not like immediately after top surgery, but like within the year.
Within the year.
Yeah. And then you have since sewn for your body.
Yes.
Quite a bit.
But I have never, I've never sewn for myself or had Shannon sew for me prior to top surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure what to say about that other than that, like, my measurements had largely settled by the time either of us was sewing for me. I know that finding things that fit me was a challenge both before and after, in terms of finding patterns that are meant for someone with like a much larger hip measurement than chest measurement.
Yeah. Yep.
So I've never actually sewn anything fitted for the top half of myself.
That's true.
Can you talk about what that is like? What like grading is like? I'm just grabbing your water.
Oh, yeah. Because I've sewn a couple of like more fitted button front shirts for you. And I used predominantly a pattern that was a men's pattern drafted. The Colette Negroni is the one that I used most often. And did like just a shit ton of grading from the chest to the hips to like fit your body. And what that looked like was first kind of grading between sizes, but then honestly like finding different ways to shape that side seam and to give more volume in the hips without it looking like really curvy. And what I ended up with was sometimes just adding some to the side seams, but also my favorite trick is adding to the width of the back pleat. So you just add to the center back of the back piece, and then you just make the pleat bigger. So at the shoulders, it's the same width, but it gives you more volume around the hem, and you don't even notice it when it's on the body. And it gives you, especially if you have a booty, it's good for a booty. I do it for myself sometimes too.
So this is actually all news to me because Shannon was making this stuff before I understood any of like the mechanics of pattern making. So I was just like, it fits.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Thank you. But yeah, I should go back and look at those because they also don't really fit me anymore because my body has changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really interesting. I will actually have to try that. Yeah. The back pleat.
Yeah.
Trick.
Yeah, and because the shirts that you've been making more often today, you make the Cornell shirt a lot, which we both love.
And it has like a ton of ease.
Yeah,
in the body.
It's big.
So I don't actually have to modify it at all. So when you were making shirts for me previously, were you basing the initial size off of like my shoulder width, my chest?
Your chest.
Chest. Okay.
Yeah. So I would start the top would be your chest measurement, and then would grade out from that to the hips. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But the other shirt, I don't remember the name of the other shirt that you've made a few times with the...
that's the Remy Raglan.
Yeah. And that's one that's like the Cornell. So the Cornell is sort of intended to be a multi-gender pattern, but the Remy Raglan is like a women's cut.
Yeah.
We're using lots of quotation marks for these. But it's kind of boxy as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you grade between sizes at all, or do you just make a straight size?
I just make a straight size.
Yeah.
And it's intended to be like a really boxy fit.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, all clothes are unisex, but this one is particularly like, easy to use for anybody. So, yeah. Another thing, so this is, I mean, the question is about surgical transitions. I think, so in my case, I know, like medical transition, like when I was on when I started on testosterone, a lot of my other measurements changed too. So like my shoulders are a lot broader, or I don't know if they're. Well, it doesn't change your skeleton, right?
Yeah,
but like
your muscular,
the breadth of my shoulders has changed. Like all of your measurements can change.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you're on any kind of hormone therapy or not, bodies change. But it can change the sorts of patterns and sorts of adjustments that you might need to make.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk at all about like your surgical
Oh, yeah.
Sewing for your surgical aftermath.
Yeah.
Recovery period.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, like, my, in a lot of ways, I do kind of consider mine kind of a gender,
That's why I asked.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a gender-affirming surgery.
Yeah, it was a gender-affirming surgery. I had a hysterectomy 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. That was, like, medically necessitated, but also, like, really deeply related to, like, how I understand and feel my gender. And I couldn't wear pants with a waistband for, like, a few weeks immediately, but it was probably about a year before I really felt, like, comfortable wearing, like, jeans again for, like, longer than an hour or two. And so there was some, like, a specific just, like, comfort level things that I was dealing with. But it also, I think, kind of pushed me into feeling a lot more interested in, like, lots of volume than maybe I even had been before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I've experimented with, like, a lot of different shapes in my sewing anyway, but it definitely pushed me into a, like, sack dress, oversized top, like...
And, like, layers of them,
And
too.
layers of them, yeah, exactly. And wearing, like, big skirts with big tops and big, loose, voluminous pants with big tops. And that's kind of, like, where I'm pretty comfortably sitting now. And also, I think, kind of playing with a sort of, like, dandy-ishness within that, which I previously felt very much needed to be kind of quite buttoned up, and, like, a tie and a blazer and the whole kind of... I'm doing this because it's, like, quite tight, right? Like, it's sort of fitted, tailored. And I'm not super comfortable in those anymore. Like, they don't really suit me all the time. Like, every once in a while, absolutely. But it's not, like, the thing that I'm aiming for. Which means I'm, like, reaching for sort of looser fitting button front shirts. I'm kind of very wanting to make some, like, oversized blazers. And, like, leaning into a kind of, like, voluminous dandy vibe. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
So that actually makes me, because I feel similarly, I think. I think that after medical transition, I feel much less inclined to wear, like extremely mask clothing. I think I was, in some ways, like, compensating for the shape of my body in needing to be, like, really tightly buttoned up a lot of the time. And so, yeah, I've also just for, like, comfort, like, who wants to wear tight, hard clothes? That's ridiculous.
We've all learned that this year.
Bye. But yeah, I've also been wearing a lot more, like, I buy more clothes from the women's section now than I did pre-transition. Because,
that's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it still fits my body better.
Yeah.
And I feel much less distressed about it because, like, I'm comfortable in the body that I have at this point. And so, like, so I will happily buy patterns that are, like, drafted for cis women. Because at least on, like, the lower half of my body, that's still what I'm working with. Folks like voluminous dandy. Oh, but yeah, so I've been playing with the bigness of my clothes.
We're both taking up space.
Yeah.
In a way, I think
it's good.
We were both kind of struggling to figure out how to do before. Yeah. I like that.
So I also, I mean, this is not so much for me, but I know, like, lots of, like, trans mask folks who, like, post-op surgery feel a lot more comfort in wearing tighter clothes or wearing, like, crop tops and things like that. So some of this is a matter of, like, your body itself changing, and some of it is about your approach to your sense of style, which might change after, during transition.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, like, that your style might also shift and what you, like...
It's a good time to play.
Yeah.
Anytime's a good time to play.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like you have to play a little bit when your body changes dramatically in a short period of time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe as one last question, I really like this question of if we would ever collab on an outfit or do matching-ish outfits.
Shannon is so excited about this. We haven't discussed this specific question, but like,
no.
Thank you, whoever gave her that idea. So, as you've probably seen, Shannon loves like a dramatic photo shoot with like character building and storytelling. And I love art directing these.
Yes.
I don't love playing dress up in the way that Shannon does, but like, yes, we will absolutely collab on matching-ish outfits.
Yes.
I mean, we've
done a few,
have.
kind of,
We've.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Our styles are different enough that like we're never gonna have like matching Christmas sweaters.
No.
But yeah, frequently Shannon will make something for herself and then make something for me with like offcuts from it. And like sometimes that's just like a lovely sweet detail that's just like in a pocket or something like that, and I love that. I don't know if that counts as matching-ish.
Yeah, I don't know that we've ever done anything that's like really matching, because even
intended to be like an outfit.
Exactly.
Together.
Yeah. Like even in our like photo shoots, when I've made a garment for both of us, it's kind of we don't exist in the same fantasy world.
We don't.
Which is okay.
I don't love performance, and frankly, I don't love being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I'll do it, and like sometimes I'll enjoy it a little. But I like being behind the camera, taking lots of pictures of you and helping you come up with whatever like fantasy landscape.
Yes.
You're going to be in.
Yeah.
So I think the answer's soft no.
Yeah.
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 I do like. I mean, I love doing collaborative work together.
Yes.
That just doesn't always translate into us making something that is for both of us.
Yes. Yes. I will say so. Collabing on an outfit is something that we are interested in, but not necessarily outfits for both of us, but outfits where like we both make component parts. And I've got a project, I was going to say in the works, I have the components of a project that I have not started my part of it yet, that Morgan wove me a ribbon for on your ankle loom. Yeah.
I love doing all kinds of fiber crafts. So there's all sorts of things that I would love. So I also spin. So and I'm working, if you can call it working. I'm hoping to learn how to spin forged fibers. So once the nettles in my garden are a little taller, I want to be like spinning nettle yarn, and Shannon's got a loom. So I mean, I love the idea of us collaborating on something where like I'm creating a fabric that you can make something out of.
Yes.
Like I love that. I don't need to be the one wearing it.
Yeah. I think that is like something we're super interested in. So the first iteration of this might be this top that I'm going to make that Morgan wove me a ribbon for, and then I'm going to sew it, and I'm going to wear it. It's for me. But I think there's other versions of that in our futures where we collaborate in the various fiber arts we love.
Dye something or print something or weave something.
Yeah. We did collaborate on cyanotype.
Yes.
We made a cyanotype silk fabric that I'm going to be making a top out of, and that was a collaboration.
Yeah.
I think that there are, because we're both interested in like all kinds of fiber arts.
Yes.
We like to play with them together.
And also like, I think I particularly am just kind of a promiscuous hobbyist. I really love picking up crafts.
Yeah.
And like, learning a little bit enough that I like know the basics and then moving on to something else.
Yeah.
But I love being able to draw on all of those things for a single project.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I think that's a good place to end for today. But we so enjoyed having this conversation. Obviously, we like talking to each other, shockingly enough. And thank you all so much for joining us. It was really lovely.
Thanks for letting me do this.
Yeah, thank you for writing for our blog. I'm so proud of you. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.